Since a couple of weeks, I have found this new pattern that I really like to use when it comes to writing these experiment batch jobs for machine learning purposes. These are the kind of scripts where a couple of settings go in and then out come a couple of numbers that tell me how well the experiment went. Before, I would write all of these separate scripts that would all link to each other, but nowadays I just do everything in a single notebook. And one thing I've learned is that by having everything that you need in one file, you actually gain a lot of flexibility. Just to quickly summarize, one of the things we're going to explore is how you can use Pydantic to make sure that all the parameters to your experiment are just consistent. I'll also show you this neat trick that you can do with marimo, such that you can check if the notebook is actually running as a batch job or if you're running it in a browser. And if it's a batch job, you can actually just build a full-on command line app around it. And at the end, I will also show you how you can hook all of this up to weights and biases, so you also have a nice place to just look at all of your experiments. This pattern is especially powerful if you're working with a team, because one of the nice things about weights and biases is that you make sure that everyone in your team, even if they're all running their own experiments, they do all look at the same chart. But with that said, let's just dive in and let me just show you a few features about this notebook that I really like. So I'm just going to take a step back, start with the big picture, and then we're going to zoom in on a bunch of details. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that this is very unlike Jupyter, because this is a notebook where you can actually have multiple columns. And that's the thing I really like as far as structuring my thoughts goes. So the first column over here is all about setup and the environment variables. Then I've got this second column over here, which is all about the parameters that I'm interested in evaluating and testing. Then typically I have a much longer column that's all about setting up the data in the right way. In this case, it's just a simulation, so it's a bit small, but you can definitely imagine you might do a few data quality checks as well. So this can also be quite a long column. Then I'm dealing with a PyTorch model, so there's also the model setup part. One thing to note here, by the way, that I think is just cute to mention is Marimo has this really nice feature where you can actually show the model that's being considered in a nice little UI. So you can actually see all the layers that are defined over here. Let me make this a bit wider. And you can see all the parameters that are in this model. If this model was a bunch bigger, you could also see the megabytes. In this case, it's a really tiny model. But you get this nice UI. So, okay, you have a model setup part. Sometimes it also needs some more code, but you do get this nice output. So that's definitely nice. And then at the end over here, I've got my big training loop where I make sure everything is logged to weights and biases. But one thing that's also just quite nice, because, this is a notebook, is that I'm able to add a couple of nice UI elements in here. So you can see that I've got this progress bar right there. If I were to hit play here, run this cell, you can actually see the progress bar. There it goes real quick. So, this definitely feels like a notebook, but there's tiers in here and there's nice UI elements. And that's something I can definitely enjoy. But the really cool thing about this notebook, on top of the fact that it's a flexible sort of IDE environment for my ideas, is that I can also run this from the command line if I like. Now, a little bit of an introduction on that one. I'm just going to bring up the terminal from the command palette. And one thing I can do now is I can call bat on this job.py file. This is what the notebook is actually stored as. So you can see I'm able to inline my dependencies because it's just a Python script. So this is the thing you can do with UV, right? You can have a self-contained app if it were. Then you can see that I've got all of these different cells and they're just decorated functions. The contents of a cell above over here corresponds to the contents of a function down below. But if we scroll all the way to the bottom, there you can also see that very familiar if dunder name equals dunder main. And that also means that I could do something like UV run, and I point it to job.py, and then we're going to see that something of a script actually does run. And it's running in its own sandbox, and that's, again, because of this, because there's metadata on top. Now, this might make you wonder how this exactly works, because, hey, we are doing something in the notebook, and we're also able to run stuff locally here. And the reason why this works is because in Marimo, you're able to request the metadata, and part of that is, hey, in what environment are we running? So I can add this variable over here, is script mode, and this is going to tell me if the notebook itself is running in edit mode, just like you would see here normally in a browser, or if we're actually running from the command line. And in this case, if we are running from the command line, and if there are no command line arguments being passed to the current notebook, then we can do a bunch of things with Rich, the Python library we all love. This is going to generate a fancy table, and you're going to see the table right here. But what I should now also be able to do is, again, run this job. But in this case, I'm going to set a learning rate just for demo purposes, add some number. And now you can actually see a training job take place. Things are being tracked, things are being sent to weights and biases. that all looks good, but that already is quite the godsend. I can experiment in a notebook to my heart's content, and if I like what I see, turning it into a production job. And this is really nice and reproducible because, I could run this script on whatever compute resource I like. Maybe I've got a big beefy machine somewhere. I can run it there, but I can also run a version of it locally. And that is just plain amazing. But when you're in this situation, I do have one big recommendation, because you now have a situation where, okay, some of the inputs could come from the notebook itself. And in the case of Marimo, you could do something really cool with generating this form over here with sliders, and then you can hit a submit button. So we've got fancy UI that can generate model parameters. But we also see that we have the command line, and you do want to make sure that there's no split brain. So you would like to consolidate all of that into one parameter object, right? You want to make sure that everything is validated before you do the big training thing. And that's where Pydantic comes in. So if you have a look over here, then you can see that I've got this one Pydantic class. I'm calling it model params. It's got epochs, it's got the batch size, it's got the learning rate. It's also got this computed field that's very useful for the run name for weights and biases. But the whole thinking here is that everything's going to point to that. I'm going to have one instance of model params, and either that's going to be generated from the UI or it's going to be generated from the terminal. So I've got my parameters form, and then down below over here, I again have that variable is script mode. If this notebook is running from the command line, then this is how we're going to be generating my model parameters. And if we're not running from the terminal, then we're just going to use the form that I have above. This is an amazing pattern because now I just have to care about these parameters being filled in the right way. But once we have this variable, we can assume that it's valid. Then we can do all of our machine learning to our heart's content after. So there's a little bit of boilerplate you got to set up at the beginning. But once you're there, and this is something LLMs can actually do for you, you're going to be super flexible in where you run this, but you still have that little bit of strictness, that little bit of guarantee that you at least have values that are valid. So that's, again, like a really big unlock for me personally. Now, a thing you can do on top of this, by the way, is you can make a file like this, grid.py. You can see that I've got this search space. This search space will just have some random numbers. Learning rate is something that you shouldn't do with a uniform distribution, but a log uniform one should definitely do the trick. But every time that I run grid.py, I'm just sampling some random numbers from the search space that I'm interested in searching through. And then I just have this UV run command down below over here. And the thing that's really nice about this is I've got one script that I can just run precisely, and I've got this other script that can do the looping or can do the searching. You can even do something clever with a cache and then Bayesian search. Like, you can make this thing really fancy. I just prefer to keep it dumb. But the thing that's really nice is also here I can just call this UV run grid.py. And it's going to loop a whole bunch. So I'm doing this one trial run. You can see that I've got some batch size and some learning rate. You can see here I've got a different batch size, a different learning rate, but I'm going to be generating me lots of data, and all this is going to be sent to weights and biases, and that's going to result in a chart that will live update, and it looks a little bit like this. So one thing that you can see for this particular experiment is that the losses are like really good onto this yellow region right there, but there's a few losses with bad numbers, and those are all the ones that have a learning rate that is way too low. And one thing that you can imagine, right, is that this is a specific experiment, a specific run, but it is really nice to log all of this in one place also for consistency, such that my colleagues could also look at this experiment, look at the same chart, and also come to the same conclusion. So yeah, this is a demo of a pattern that I think is pretty darn general. I really like to use Pydantic for this. Having that be the central place to fan out from definitely feels like it's a good design. And one thing I just want to mention is that if you want to do something like this yourself, I also made a agent skill for this. So if you were to type Marimo team in the search bar on skills.sh, then the number one skill is, of course, the general Marimo notebook one, but there's also a Marimo batch one. And this describes everything that I just told you. It says everything about using Pydantic and using forms the right way and how to run it as a script as well as a normal notebook. But there is also a reference that is linked here. And that reference is also inside of the skill itself. So there is actually this example notebook that the skill can go ahead and use as a starting point. So if you're keen to just vibe code some of these jobs yourself, you could actually partially automate that these days. I would still definitely check the output, right? But just having all the wires be there for you at the start is definitely a productivity unlock. And for a lot of the experiments that I do when it comes to re-implementing papers, this is the thing I typically fall back onto. Just having a good, solid way to have something be runnable locally as well as on a big compute cluster somewhere. That is just super duper nice. So I hope you'll give it a spin. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next video.